once I'm done fighting, I'll always be an athlete, working out and staying sharp and fresh. But I think, as you get older, there's no point taking, shots to the face, getting concussions, potential, getting knocked out, all that stuff. There's no point to risk that anymore.
Hey, and by then you might finally finish Demon Souls.
Maybe.
What up, Fightful fam? Shaquille Majuri here. And you know who this man is. We've said it all the time. It's been heard. He's one of the pound-for-pound greatest of all time. He is the former king of UFC flyweights. He might just be the future king of one championship flyweights. And if he was about 205 pounds, I think he could give John Jones a little trouble. Demetrious Johnson, how's it going, man?
It's good to be back, man. Thanks for having me again.
100%. Now, before we get into the meat of the conversation, I got to start with something. If it wasn't bad enough, I can't imagine being in a cage standing across from someone who is truly capable of hurting me, but you are now living out my worst nightmare. How has your Demon Souls run been?
Oh, my God. I mean... It's been better. It's been better.
Okay.
I'm taking a break from Demon Souls, but so far it's been going really good. I just killed the old demon god, the old dragon god. So I just killed him. Phenomenal fight. The game's been phenomenal so far. So I look forward to finishing my run through Demon Souls.
Man, I even, it's one of those weird games where, like, I have friends who aren't gamers who are obsessed with the Souls franchise, but you're a busy guy. I know, gaming is now also part of your career, but how do you make the time for something that takes as much effort as the Souls franchise?
You just got to find time, It's awesome that my kids are getting older, downstairs, Tyron and Maverick are playing Call of Duty or Fortnite. My daughter, she is, listen to nursery rhymes on an iPad, and the wife's upstairs take care of laundry. So typically, once I get done, 1 second.
We are back.
So there?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. Somebody's calling. So typically, once I get done with everything in the house, then that's when I was like, babe, can I go play video games? And she's pretty cool about that. Once I bang out these interviews, we have clean up the downstairs and upstairs. I'm like, hey, it's 5 o'clock. I think I get a little gaming in if you don't mind. So just try to find time whenever I can.
Yeah, well, you need a cooperative and loving partner who understands the importance of getting in the gaming session.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to hear that.
I need my fix.
Exactly. Okay, let's touch on the fighting. I do want to wrap around to esports, but people are going to kill me if we don't ask some questions about the fight game. You obviously have this fight coming up against Adriano Moraes for the one championship flyweight title. Last time I talked to you was for MMA Mania back in April, and we were still talking about that fight. What has the training process been like? Because it feels like you've been in a 12-month camp at this point.
Oh, no 12-month camp.
Good.
Once we knew the fight was going to happen with the whole COVID-19, the pandemic, everything shut down. Sorry, good.
A lot of interviews.
We took advantage of just letting the body chill and relax and not worry about fighting. We put fighting in the back burner because it just wasn't possible to make the fight happen. Now the fight is here. We have a set schedule, February 24th. Now we're right back in the swing of things, getting the body condition ready to go out there to go out there and compete.
When you sort of envision when you would look back on your run through one championship, obviously you went through the Grand Prix, had a successful run there, but you're the sort of guy who they could have just brought you in and immediately given you a title shot. When you consider the Grand Prix, the ongoing pandemic, did you expect your journey to the one championship title to take this long?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm not scared to work for my title shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go in and be given anything. I want to work for it, and I love how I went about doing it with the Flyweight World Grand Prix and getting a sweet belt afterwards, and now I get my opportunity to fight for the divisional belt.
Obviously, when people talk to you, they're gonna bring up, do you have another UFC run in you? There's the dream matchups that people want to see, but you made it very clear that one championship is your home, and it's in some ways your retirement home. I'm not going to ask you if you have a timeline in mind, but I am curious, how does it feel to know that you have an end game in sight?
I think that's the most important part, is having an end game in sight, right? Because you see some of these athletes just fight forever. And for me, I'm 34 years old, so I would love to be fighting within 4 years, 38 years old. And I think, I don't foresee myself jumping back over to North America promotions. I can't predict the future, but as right now, I'm very happy with one championship. very happy where I'm competing at, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Looking at 3-4 years, you said?
3 to 4 years, yeah. I don't want
Sounds
to fight
good.
when I'm 39 and 40. I think 3 or 4 years. I've been fighting since I was 18, right? So
Right.
I feel from 18 to 38. That's like 20 years in the game. My math's right. So
Okay.
that's 20 years of just competing, being an athlete. Once I'm done fighting, I'll always be an athlete, working out and staying sharp and fresh. But I think to as you get older, there's no point taking shots to the face, getting concussions, potential getting knocked out, all that stuff. There's no point to risk that anymore.
Hey, and by then you might finally finish Demon Souls.
Maybe.
I'm mostly just gutted because I never managed to get through it, so I guess it's a little bit of my own envy.
You gave up?
I gave up, man. I can't believe I did. I can't believe I did.
Man.
I know. It was the time commitment, man. I just couldn't justify how much I had to put in to get through the game. But we'll get there one day.
Sometimes I look at how many hours I have in video games, and I think, man, if I would put 85 hours into learning a new language, or 85 hours to learn how to play piano or an instrument, yeah, I'll be able to do it. But I truly enjoy play video games. I just do.
Me too. I get it, dude. Okay, so as we start heading towards the latter half of this, you mentioned another thing that was keeping you away from ever returning to a North American promotion, at flyweight at least, was the weight cut, that you're not looking to shed those few pounds of water weight. You're already shredded as it is. Being this far into your career, obviously there's pros and cons to weight cutting, and a lot of it is a consequence of people naturally bigger, draining themselves to get down. All in all, do you think that the pros of cutting weight severely outweigh the cons?
I think that all depends on the athlete, right? Like for me, cutting to 125, I never had a true dietitian, go through the whole weight cutting thing for me, because there'd be guys who are bigger than me who make 125 just fine. I'm not saying I never had a hard time making 125. It was just miserable. I hated sitting in the tub, boiling myself, and X, Y, and Z. But that's part of the game, and I did it for so long. I'm just like over. I'm just like, I'm done cutting 125. Now, if I had to cut, a little bit lower than 135, that's not bad. But that number 125, I don't foresee myself ever making that ever again.
Last thing for me here. Actually, there's a couple more, but off the topic of MMA, I saw that you recently got your hands on a new bobblehead of yourself, throwing up your pose from your one championship debut. These are sort of the, additional gifts of having the sort of career that you've had that you don't expect when you get into it, right? You get into MMA for the love of the sport, and then you get to a point where you've got your own bobblehead that you could put right there next to your Vegeta statue in your gaming area. What is it like when you take a moment and kind of breathe that in? What is it like to now have these action figures or these bobbleheads or the sort of memorabilia?
It's pretty dope. I don't know how I don't know what feelings I should have, because I never expected it to happen. But it's kind of dope. When the opportunity came to be made into an MMA bobblehead, it was honored. And hearing his story and hear how some athletes say no, I'm like blown away. I'm like, who wouldn't want to have an artistic statue made of themselves, of their career? And so for me, I said, absolutely, let's do it. But it's awesome. I think today it's gonna be kind of curious to see what my kids think, because I have my very first one with the UFC. I have each one of my kids have one. I have 4 more that are in plastic container that have been open, and then I have the MMA bobblehead, and then I also have another one coming out too, which is a vinyl figure, almost like a Funko Pop. So they're all cool, and I'm just blessed and I'm grateful to be able to have the opportunity to have these things done.
Last question. I put out a tweet asking people if they had anything they want to ask you, and one of the ones that really caught my eye is the partnership between esports and MMA, and it's something we're seeing one championship really spearhead. How far do you think esports can go in the traditional sports space? Because it looks like it's finally being embraced.
Well, I mean, esports hasn't always been around, but now it's starting to catch its footing, starting to be embraced. I mean, when you look at games like League of Legends or Dota 2 or StarCraft or Overwatch League, AWS, Arena World Championship, AWC. I mean, the games just go on. Rainbow Six Siege. And it's not just based in Asia, but it's also based in Europe and North America. Obviously, right now with the pandemic, there hasn't been a lot of big esports tournaments going on or any cons to host those tournaments. So that's a big thing as right now. But I think once the pandemic's over, once we start filling stadiums back up with fights and gaming events, I think esports can be right there. I mean, Capcom, and then there was a lot of allegations from different people, sexual allegations with the Capcom Cup, from what I heard. So that's why Capcom 2020 didn't happen, obviously with COVID-19. So I think esports is just going to go. It's going to keep on rising, especially with the new games that keep coming out.
Out of curiosity, what are some of like the formative games of your youth?
Formative games, like hard ass games to beat.
Just stuff that like really sticks out, or your personal top games.
Yeah, I would say as a kid. I mean, when it's kid, I would say DuckTales for Nintendo, Mega Man 2, Snake Rattle and Roll, 3D Runner. Then when I became like a teenager, it was Super Nintendo, Demon's Crest, Super Ghosts and Ghouls, Super Mario Brothers, a Mega Man X series. And then when I became like a mid-adult, like 18 years old, it was Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, Devil May Cry, Star Fox 64, Blast
Speak
Force.
my language.
Yeah. Oh, this is your language? Yeah. Mario Party. Then as a mid-adult, 25, that's when, I got introduced in World of Warcraft. And then that's when PC gaming started coming to my life. And now it's all about, World of Warcraft and Escape from Tarkov and Call of Duty.
Gamer through and through, and a fighter through and through. Demetrious Johnson, I want to thank you so much for your time today. You fight Adriano Moraes for the ONE Championship flyweight title. Best of luck, and hopefully next time I'll be speaking with and new.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Fightful